We're live.
Hi, welcome everybody to the June 22nd, 2026 regular council meeting of the town of the Paw. As always, I want to acknowledge that we're again meeting in Treaty 5 territory tonight, on land of our friends, and the traditional land of the Passamaquoddy Cree Nation, as well as many other Indigenous people and the Red River Métis people as well. So with that, I'll call the meeting to order. Just as a note, Councillor Commodore, I did send her regrets for this evening. So somebody should have a resolution to adopt the agenda.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Allen. We resolve that the agenda be adopted as I would like to have a couple of amendments on here if there's no objection. One for in camera, Devon Park property. And open meeting, Manitoba Housing stock in town. Just the two.
Yep.
No.
And you want to add that to the meeting of all? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Readable.
Okay, sounds good. Any questions? Can you pass me the paper? Perfect, thank you. So any other additions to the agenda? Seeing none, call the question, all in favor? Opposed, carried. Confirmation of the minutes?
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Allen, resolves that the minutes from the regular council meeting of June 1st, 2026 and public hearing of June 17th, 2026 be hereby approved. All statutory declaration of compliance.
Any comments, questions with regards to the minutes? Seeing none, call the question, all in favor? Opposed, none, carried. Recognition period. Anybody got any great stuff that went on this week? Since our last meeting?
There's a lot of great stuff. I'll leave that to the rest of you to punch in. So you probably have a little list there, Mayor Murphy, but I just wanted to make a recognition to former Reeve Len Galushka, who passed away last week, I believe it was. He was a very big contributor to our community, and we're still dealing with those contributions to this day, working on the Highway 383, Creighton Gateway Corridor efforts, which are going to be a huge boon for our community. So I just wanted to recognize him and pass on condolences to his loved ones.
Just on the, I meant to mention that at the start of the meeting, I wonder if it would be in order to have a moment of silence.
Sure, okay.
Thank you. When I was the mayor, I declared working with Len and follow up on Councillor Allen. He was a major proponent for bringing trade from the west, George Churchill, all of the above, and his efforts from those days 20 years ago are still ongoing, and I'm sure he left a very positive mark in the RM.
Absolutely. No, great legacy, that's for sure. I've many good discussions with him. Anybody else have anything they want to add?
I have a quick one. Thank you for the planters going out today. They look beautiful. They're really, really heavy, and for the guys to be able to get that many out in one day and still be able to walk by the end of the day is fabulous.
Okay, well, I'll just add a couple here. First off, I want to just mention the Paw Friendship Center's National Indigenous People Day celebration on Saturday was absolutely outstanding. It was 4 hours of action, lots of music, lots of celebration, the puppet show, wrestling. I missed that. I was gonna they were trying to get me to be in it, but I said I'm more of a manager nowadays, but no, what a great job by everybody that's done that, put that on. They're gonna be hard for them to, outdo themselves next year, so well done. Second thing, I just wanna acknowledge our staff for doing such a great job. Setting up the AMM June district meetings. It was great to see all those visitors, from other communities into town. It was very professionally organized, very smooth run. I know, we get nothing but positive feedback, so it does set a good, impression of who we are here in the town of Nepean, and the meetings were very effective. And then the last thing I will announce, sort of what's been announced today by the provincial government, so Minister Isaac Guerra and the Premier Canoe were in town today to announce the naming of the healthcare clinic that they announced, the primary healthcare clinic that we've been advocating for more than 20 years. So they announced that today after the late Amanda Laughlin, who was taken away too young in her life. So it'll be the Amanda Laughlin Healthcare Clinic, I believe, or medical clinic, memorial clinic, yeah. Yeah, so thanks for that. So we appreciate that announcement, as we've had discussions all the time. Although that's a great announcement and it's a great thing to leave behind for Amanda and her family, because she was a trailblazer in a lot of things. But the timeline is still way too far, so I made sure that I pointed that out as well this morning, that, you know, we can't wait to 2020, 30. We need to see that develop sooner, so, but thanks for that. Anything else? Okay, seeing none.
I'll just
sorry.
mention all our congratulations to our grads.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, that's a good point.
UCN and KLC have done theirs, and Oscar Laughlin and UCL are coming up this week. Don't know if I'm missing anybody else, but yeah, congratulations to all of them.
Yeah, GL, yeah, so Oscar Laughlin's third next week. And again, we wish all the grads a great, you know, a lot of hard work, a lot of things that they're done. Now they're looking for the next adventure, and I've been telling people, you don't have to look too far, because there's a lot of opportunities in Northern Manitoba. And so, you know, whether it's extending your education through UCN, or you're gonna travel away and spread your wings a little bit, Nepean is always our home, and you're always welcome to come back north, because there's tons of opportunities to be had. Okay, so moving along, we're at resolution town barbecue.
Resolution number 2026-109, moved by myself, second by Councillor Hopper. Resolved that council approve the purchase of the 44-inch Blackstone barbecue with required and necessary accessories for an estimated cost of $1,500, including taxes and shipping, with the money to come from community enhancement.
We've discussed already, needed for not only our staff events, but to be able to use it within our community if need be. Any questions? Seeing none, call the question. All in favor? Opposed? None? Carried. Graffiti assistance removal program.
Resolution number 2026-110, moved by myself, second by Councillor Hopper. Resolve that council approve the purchase of world's best graffiti removal system for both the citizens program and the town's maintenance department for a total maximum cost of $10,000 to come from the community enhancement reserve.
Again, great program come up by our staff, great way of sort of trying to deal with the issues that we're dealing with. So hopefully there'll be an advertisement program, campaign that follow this. Any questions? Seeing none, call the question. All in favor? Opposed? None? Carried.
Resolution number 2026-111, moved by myself, second by Councillor Allen. Resolve the council approve the purchase of the new Volvo loader from NORS North. Bucket and gate attachment from Hinky in the amount of $475,000 plus tax and shipping.
So this is replacing one that's at the end of its life, and then will support the community to keep doing the things. I believe the attachment is for maybe the assist with back lanes and how we can plow in back lanes, correct?
And also, just helping, with people's driveways, so very, will increase efficiency significantly.
Yeah, so back lanes and helping with driveways when we're clearing snow, so this should be another service improvement for our community. Call the question, all in favor, opposed, none, carried. Okay, payrolls and accounts.
Resolution number 026-112, moved by Councillor Manage, second by Councillor Forrester. Resolved that council authorize the following accounts. Pay period number 12 in the amount of $145,653.36. General check number 33410 to 33447 in the amount of $63,668.99. EFTs in the amount of $801,076.
Any questions, Councillor Hopper?
Just a couple of, I don't have the checks in front of me. A couple of checks there, a question on just what they were for Big Hill.
That's the unit to clean the inside, that we approved it, resolution to do the edging of the arena inside. That piece of equipment's electric edging.
Okay. And I know we have policy of Dutch drive-in $365. Did we miss a party or what happened there?
That'll be the meal allowances for the guys for, so there'll be an accumulation of multiple lunches. Lunch.
Okay, this was one.
It's not a one-on.
Yeah, like they usually will,
Okay. Twin Motors. Was a check there for 4,000. Change.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that says, tires, for unit, 2021. Silverado, looks like fire department. And some repairs. So I'm not sure what unit that is, maybe we can get some information on that, Bola. Yeah, so just if we could get some information, yes, yeah, so that's an Olympia battery edger, that was for the airport, that Big Hill thing. Is that the same question?
For the airport.
No, that $10,000.
You said the edger for the airport.
Oh, did I? Sorry, the green. Yeah, I know.
Trims the edge.
Yeah. Yeah,
Keeps the leads down.
yeah, sorry.
And PayQuest. Is that something to do with payroll? PayQuest, $166,000.
Vision on their project, one of the few proposals. Yeah, deposit for the cap project.
Oh, fine.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
I guess the one for Swan Valley is just
Oh, it's a request, yeah, for equation.
okay.
Any other questions? Seeing none, call the question, all in favor, opposed, carried. Yeah, so if we could just get an idea of what happens about the Twin Motors. And
The other reason I was asking about that is our vehicles, or we've replaced a few vehicles there.
yeah,
Just wondering.
yeah, no, that's a good question. May financials resolution.
Okay, resolution number 2026-113, moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Mann. Be resolved, the council accept the financial statements for period ending May 2026 as prepared and submitted by Laura Armstrong, Controller.
Everybody have a chance, any questions around that? Laura, go ahead.
Couple questions. First of all, for this report, I would like to see Laura here if there is questions.
Yeah.
At least online. She is the chief financial officer. But just looking at a few of them, a few comments, like the long-term debt hasn't changed. Reserve balances haven't changed. But I'm just wondering, is the interest on the reserve accounts, which are fairly substantial, where does that fit in?
Yeah, there is
The balances are the same.
she does report that, but I don't know where it is.
And on the fire department, training and registrations, $100,000. Question on that was that $100,000, does that include your practice nights?
Mm-hmm.
That's included.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay. Other than that, no, it's good to have a report like that.
Yeah, she does a good job explaining it all. Any other questions? Seeing none, call the question, all in favor? Opposed? None carried. You know, I've been making two piles here, I don't know, maybe for the other meeting. So, 1 second here, but. Got two piles going here for bowl, I don't wanna screw it all up. Oh well. We all mix up for you. Sorry, I'll get organized for me on that. Give me 1 second here. Okay, personnel, nothing, committees and reports, let me get over our little.
I have the chair here for personal.
Oh, sorry. Come on up, my friend. Welcome.
Good, sit up the camera. Special assistance.
I forgot to, I seen you, well, you were hiding behind Bola, so I didn't see you. Maybe introduce yourself to the community.
Sure, so my name is Ali Siddiqui, I'm from Edmonton. I moved here about 3 weeks ago, for an HR position here. Just looking to grow and support my team here, everyone is really respectful, and just hoping to be seen as a valuable, asset here.
Oh, that's awesome. So how are you liking it so far?
Yeah, it's a bit of a change, coming from Edmonton to a smaller town. But I feel like I am adjusting. I do like everything that's close by here. Yeah, just looking forward to, you know, I'm sure I'll like it much better later on too.
Well, welcome to the community, my friend, and if you ever need anything, I know our council is always open. If you need a discussion, you need to meet us,
Sure,
just let us know.
sounds good. Thank you.
Welcome.
That's welcome. Okay. Museum Board, Councilor Connor is not here. Chamber of Commerce.
We did not have a meeting, we didn't have quorum that night, so we had a good gab session for a good hour afterwards. It was as good as a meeting sometimes, but again, no official meeting, so nothing really to report. The next meeting would be scheduled for the 1st, but of course it won't be, so I'm guessing it will be July 8th, which is hosted at UCN.
Okay.
Only because July 1st, of course, it's always the first Wednesday of the month, which falls on July 1st this year.
CDCs, there's lots of stuff going on, but our next meeting is July the 17th. But there's a lot of things sort of moving along. But nothing I can really report yet. Destination marketing,
We have a meeting happening on, I think it's the 24th, to revisit, I believe a grant application for the
Blizzard.
Blizzard
reunion.
reunion. That'll happen on the 24th.
Good. Anything else? Cedar Lake.
I attended Vision Quest. It was another success. Every year, I don't know how they're going to improve what they do. And they always seem to improve it. They have a really, really good board, and it was a fantastic trade and business show that was sold out. Their guest speakers were phenomenal once again this year, and their performance and food was fantastic. And our AGM will be July, I think the 3rd week of July. I'll give the exact date at the next council meeting. I don't have it on my calendar yet. But it'll be, I think, the week of the 28th.
Good. Recycling board, we did have a meeting, but there was no quorum, so we didn't have a meeting. But we did have to do some business through e-votes, which we accomplished. So just a little highlights for Milan and his team out there. They've been doing a great job. They've sort of cleaned up their yard to get that usable yard area sort of fixed. They've got that legacy garbage sort of relocated and waiting for some tools to sort of help move that around. They organized the interior of the facilities, all been organized and cleaned up, so if anybody has an opportunity from council to go and have a look, I would encourage you to. And then they also, one of the highlights that they organized a bit of a public recycling drop off, this weekend. What they're doing is MMSN was to be on site this week, but there was some challenges with there was a flood down south where the guy that was supposed to come didn't come. So they did collect, they were looking for about 15 totefuls. But they said they've got enough to get started. They're baling cardboard now and just sort of training the staff to get ready. So I'd expect you'll start to see a little bit more action around that. So the guys are doing good on that. And then a couple of their issues they have is, they did find that there's some challenges with the the conveyor system. They looked at that and there's some maintenance that should have been done that wasn't done. So they're doing some work on that. Thanks to a local community member, actually Ron Ford, who's an industrial millwright, donated his time to go out and look at the equipment and show them what they needed to do to get that belt done and service. So there's some work to do there. And his priorities continue to get the MSDSs all up to date and get the facility all cleaned up and get things up and running. So great job by that team out there. Really appreciate that. Done a lot of work in the last few weeks. Library board?
We did have a meeting earlier this month. It was a short meeting, mostly, some housekeeping items, but we do have a board member that will be, looks at stepping down. So there will be a request for a board member coming forward. We also have a couple of employees that will be leaving, a couple of students that are moving on, and I think one other person as well. So there'll be some advertising going out for that. And it's expected at the next meeting, they will be finalizing, formally approving their logo. So there will be some stuff coming out for them, assuming next month. So our next meeting is July 9th.
Nothing from KSD, and our youth counselors probably at the awards ceremony getting maybe an award or two. Okay, so moving along, any other reports that we need to talk about? How about the monthly management report? Everybody had a chance to look at that? Any comments, questions on that? Councilor Mann?
Yeah, I'm gonna be a bit of a critic here. We're spending a lot of money this year on recreation, and we have not had one significant report from recreation from a management point of view. January was nothing. February was a couple little points. March and April were cut and pastes of each other. And now the most recent one doesn't exist. Recreation is something that I think this council and this entire community has always looked towards, and not seeing reports. I mean, right now, for example, it's going to be wrap-up season. We've got soccer going on. We've got the triathlon this past week, and I know that will possibly come in the June report, but it could be promotion of these types of things. So I would just like to see a little more, especially on the recreation side, of what's going on, especially when we're going to be investing, millions of dollars this year into our community in the recreation front.
Sure.
This is standing in fast. The recreational and just sent me a report about the capital projects this afternoon. And that one is already late. I cannot.
But capital project is only one portion of a recreation report, right? I said, when you look back right to January, we have essentially received nothing from recreation since January.
Well, there is a report in there tonight, other than it's just 3 lines.
Yeah, like I said, it doesn't really give us, it's not
Yeah.
a report. Like I
No,
said, we expect a little more.
Yeah.
We want to know, and it's an opportunity to promote that department to the community and say, look at what we're doing and look at the efforts we're putting into. This is why the millions of dollars deserve to be invested in our community.
In this past weekend, we had a lot of youth on baseball fields.
Yeah.
All of them
Fastball
They
return.
had, what was it, you,
2:15.
yeah,
And you,
baseball tournament going on, and I had a lot of families, the parents stopped in, and they were so proud of the area and so proud of how the fields looked. A gentleman from Cross Lake went on and on about how beautiful it was to play in the fields here. And it's nice to hear it, it's nice to have the rest of the people in the community know that that's how people feel.
that's a good thing to bring up at the beginning of council, but as a recognition next time.
Yeah, fastball hasn't been here in a lot of years.
Yeah.
And it was really nice to see and feel they were busy. It was good to see in the community.
Grandson got a home run, except he slid head first in home plate and didn't count his run, put him out.
Can you not allow
Can't go
it?
ahead first.
Oh, right. No, that's a good, so maybe just give some feedback to the rec department if we can maybe get a little bit more details. And, you know, like on programs that are up and running, with sort of initiatives they're looking for, not status quo stuff. And I think we're always looking at what are we doing different and not about maintaining business, it's about improving business. Okay, public safety report, any comments on that? Councillor Hopper?
Bear with me, I've got a few here. I guess comments, without being too critical, because I'm not driving around with the officers, but the issue of safe transport, they pick up individuals, 18 individuals were transported to Oscar's Place for shelter and support services. I'm wondering why they couldn't walk. If they were intoxicated, they shouldn't have taken to Oscar's Place. They should be taken to the lockup. Question, they're not here, so they can't answer that.
But that's just before you go, we'll leave that. Maybe, Bola, you could send a request to get that information and maybe just copy council.
Okay.
Because I think that might be an RCMP discussion as well.
Fines issued, parking violations. I find it hard to believe with all the patrols they do, there was only 5 parking violation tickets issued for May. Derelict properties, January, 0, February, 0, March, 0, April, 0, May, 1. I'll be talking a little bit later about mental housing, but
The fines issued, I guess I would need to understand what fines issued is a parking violation because it said, oh, you said 5 tickets in May, right?
yeah,
Okay,
so
sorry.
I mean,
Yeah.
there should be more than 5. Unsightly properties. I find it hard to believe there's only 2. I'm sure, well, I know there's a lot more too. It's somewhere on here it had the incarcerations for the amount, the number of.
Yeah, it says at the top part, IPDA's, it said 8.
8 people or something, but anyways. I'll formulate my questions for the next meeting a little bit better than this, but obviously he's not here, so we can't answer them, so I can wait till next meeting and I'll have questions and hopefully they have some answers on that. And speaking of that, part of that is we talked about assisting businesses with storefront improvements and removing areas where vagrants can hang out. And it was mentioned that the park bench, I think it was mentioned tonight, the park bench by the post office, there's been a request to have that removed. I would suggest we remove the one in front of the town office. The mayor was saying it is damaged. It should be out of there. Not only because of the damage, but because it's allowing people to sit there. They'll sit on the ledge, but I mean, there's ways to facilitate that so they can't do that as well. On 2nd Street, 3rd Street, the old NTS building, there's a garbage can there across from the Colbar building, the old Colbar building. There's a garbage can there that is basically used as a seat. There's a minimum of 1 person sitting on, sometimes you're trying to be 2, but again, just, we want to remove areas that people can
Mhm.
hang out and, if we're telling people to do that, we've got a few of our own that we should, move on as well.
Didn't we, so that's a good point, like, didn't we have in there to have that audit done in our community on crime reduction by environmental design or whatever the acronym is?
We're supposed to do something.
I thought
We're
that-
already about it, but they're coming up to us.
Because that's kind of what Councilor Hopper is bringing up.
And they moved along 610 people. Moved along, I don't know what the definition of move along is, like. Move along, you're just circulating around downtown.
Yeah.
Gotta get them out of downtown. No, they have no business being there. We have a loitering bylaw. Move along. If they're not doing anything, they shouldn't be hanging around. That's what people see when they come to town. We spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to beautify our town. And, we started off with the CSOs primarily for
Downtown.
issue with people downtown. We spent in excess of probably $300,000 or $400,000 on that program. And I don't blame it on the individuals. Something has to be done different because I don't think we're getting our money's worth what we're spending and we're not seeing the results. Just the other day, I was on, crossing West Canada, there was somebody, laid out, ambulance was there. I drive up to, Herman Eye Care, it used to be Herman Eye Care. There's somebody else laying on the side of the road, two people fighting. And I noticed, an Ontario truck there with a boat driving by and I'm thinking, wonder what they're thinking. Like, that's not the image we want to portray. And I think we have to help our CSOs do something different. And, if it's bylaws, I know you can't just lock everybody up, but certainly if you do that enough times, they're gonna find a different place to hang out, so. It's only a broken record to keep mentioning this, but maybe he can come out and if he needs more resources or do something different, a patrol, driving around, moving 610 people, moving them along. It's not working.
Just wanted to add to that, something I've been consistent with is we keep talking about foot patrols. I've been told that they have done one this month, but it's something that we'd like to see regularly. To me, the engagement with the individuals, watching the car drive by, they're basically pointing and laughing at them at this point, watching the truck. Having them engage with the individuals on the street that cause some of our issues. Again, I'd like to see, and the excuse we've been given regularly is, well, once it warms up. Well, we're in summer now and we're still not getting the patrols, so it'd really be good to see at least half of the time spent on foot patrols. Again, acting like ambassadors to our community, not just enforcement officers, but truly being engaging and showing the public we are making every effort.
I agree with that. You know, we have been begging for patrols, even if it was from like 11 till 12 and then from 2 till 3. You know, like just because if they're at the exact same time every day, then the people are going to learn the schedule, right? So if they can be rotated, and then that way people can access the shops that are downtown.
And I think we should be talking to, Manitoba Lottery and Liquor about, the liquor store. I mean, individuals go in there, I know I've talked to hotel owners and, individuals that are barred from going to a vendor because they're on the road. They're barred, they can't go there. Why don't they do that at the liquor store? I mean, they're in the lot, 5 or 6, and one goes in to buy something and like, I think they could take how they're looking after the customers as well.
Unfortunately, they used to. They tried for a long time, but the government stepped in and said, you're not allowed to bar them, you're not allowed to write a list of people that are barred from here and not serve them.
Well, we should maybe talk to the minister responsible because the amount of money that leaves this town from lotteries and the amount we get back is pathetic. And we should be getting a lot more back to help us look at our positions.
100%.
Sorry, last one I wanted to bring up, just hopefully that way it can be on the radar next meeting, is we've talked about the boots now. Mike has, or sorry, our CSO manager has kind of promised us this meeting, we would see the cost on boots for vehicles, about the parking tickets. So it's been on our conversation now for the past 3.5, almost 4 months. So it would be nice to see, like I said, that cost, if that's something we could make a difference in and make our parking a little more effective in enforcement.
And that's my rant for tonight.
No, it's good, you know, that's a good, it's a good, and it's a good thing that, you know, we should write up an actual, briefing note, for the minister responsible for liquor and lotteries. And, the next time we have an opportunity to talk to them, that we can present something in front of them with some real facts and, you know, because that's how we move forward with these things. It's, you know, us talking about it here, but when we do have good relations with those people that are making the decisions now. That's the way we're gonna make some traction on that. Some good points, so. Just one thing I'm gonna add in, I know I sort of missed it, and before we go, but it's sort of related. So we did, at the AMM meetings, we did have some good meetings with regards to some of these things. So one of the things was around the, Lido on the insurance. So we've got, we seem to begin maybe potentially getting some more traction on that again. The other thing is the 3 resolutions that we presented, remember, we put forward for, derelict and put it up, or what was it? Derelict and something housing, abandoned housing. So that resolution was passed unanimously at the June district. So that will go forward to the main meeting, which is a provincial wide, that's a category 1 resolution. The second one was a abandoned vehicles for towing, so the Garage Keepers Act. Again, that was really well received, and actually they would wanted friendly amendments to, you know, to like places like Thompson. Their challenge is not only vehicles, but shopping carts. They get stuck with shopping carts that they can't do anything with. And they don't come and get them, so that got passed unanimously as well. And then the other one that we talked about was the municipal board hearing support systems. Again, that was well received. The one issue that we did have, remember that category, that was a category 3, they said was around the school tax. I actually gave the documentation to the minister, Samar, directly, and his staff person, and asked them to look into that, because I'm not completely supporting that, but we didn't really debate that at that meeting, but it's still an active file for us.
Good.
Sorry, I meant to mention that in the reports, and it reminded me. Okay, moving along, capital report. Everybody have a look at that? I did have a couple of questions with that one. It says some of the resolutions were passed, Bola, but I thought they were actually were. I didn't mark them down, but I thought we had passed a resolution, or maybe it was just the budget, but for the museum table and redesign of the museum and all that. I actually thought we had passed a resolution for that money, but it was grant dependent or something at one time.
And I thought, just to add to your comment, I was thinking the same thing. I thought anything that would be considered a carryover was essentially agreed to and was,
Yeah, I would, again,
whether by resolution or by budget, it was kind of agreed to money that we promised we're gonna do those things, so.
like the CCAN for the training.
Right, that's carried.
Yeah, and we'd already approved
Yeah,
that.
so I'm just wondering if there's we have to approve that again.
No, we shouldn't have to.
We shouldn't have to, we agreed to that money, right?
Once it's been approved, it's approved. It doesn't get, does it?
But when it's been approved for during the budget, by the time we want to spend the money, we have to bring the resolution.
No, I get that part, but I thought some of these resolutions were approved in the previous year's budget, and we already approved the action versus the CCAN. Like for the CCAN, it's a simple one. They came for request $10,000 for a CCAN. There was some conversations going back and forth. We had it in our budget, but I thought we had proved that to go ahead and do that.
Yeah, anything that says carryover should really be
Money's there.
resolution was passed.
No, it's not.
Not necessarily a resolution, but we agreed to spending.
So we agreed to the budget, but then once we agree to the budget, then the staff goes out and does the work, and then they bring back the idea, and then we pass the resolution based on what this is. What I'm saying is I thought that some of these were already at that point. We had passed the budget, we had also brought it to council with the plan, and we had passed the resolution. because for an example, like for sure, the CCAN, which doesn't really matter anyways, it's just a report. But like, I think they've already bought that table at the Rotary, so if it hasn't had a resident, like it, so anyways, if we could just verify that. Any other questions with the capital?
Just
Sorry.
like to follow up on what you're talking about there, like the Rotary room table. Saying it's not passed and then it says the project's 50% complete, but then when you go to the notes, it says project is complete. So I don't know how accurate all this on here is,
Yeah,
so it probably needs to be gone through completely and updated.
And I just wanted to add one thing, in my mind as well, speaking on almost the same topic again. Anything that is a carryover, to me, should have a high priority attached to
yeah,
it.
I agree.
Because we've agreed to spending that money last year, we collected their tax dollars, but we didn't do the project, so to me, that should
Yeah,
not necessarily be a priority in terms of getting on it right now, but it should definitely be on the radar of what's gotta be done this year, we can't carry.
realistic capital plan. No, you're absolutely right, Councilor Manichi. Okay, anything else with that? So we'll get an update the next month. Anything on the unfinished business?
The only comment I had on that was under the surveillance cameras and the graffiti, it's the exact same comment, so I'm assuming one was copy pasted into the other for some reason. Word for word, exact same comment.
Speaking of surveillance cameras, something I missed in recognition, we did get that, grant forfeiture grant from which we should post out there at BOLA. Myself and BOLA attended the, event at the RCMP last Thursday. They recognized a couple of, groups, the town also got recognized, for that crime forfeiture fund grant, and we got $44,000 to go towards the camera systems. So we should actually put something in the paper on that. I forgot all about that.
47.
47,000, yeah.
And then one other comment over here for the Devon Park one, under the notes, it says working on removal of. I'm assuming we're not removing Devon Park.
Skip the old debris from.
Yeah,
I would assume
That's
that
its own line item, it's gonna be it.
what we're removing here, assume it's not the park.
okay. Any other comments? No? So moving along here, nobody is the citizen period, so going to committee of the whole.
Resolved that we now move ourselves into the committee of the whole with Mayor Murphy and the chair to discuss inspiring our attention.
Want to do the addition before we forget again? Councilor Hopper first?
Manitoba
Yeah.
Housing, Manitoba Housing Fund.
Yeah,
We'll do that now.
yeah, let's do it first, Luke, so I don't forget it.
I don't know if everybody's had the opportunity to drive around town and look at housing buildings. Some of them are in newer neighborhoods, some are in older neighborhoods. Co-op must be making a lot of money selling them plywood because there's a lot of windows and doors boarded up on major apartment blocks. Buildings that burnt 2 or 3 years ago are still in disarray. I think what we should, I don't know if we have the time or find somebody to do it. I'd like to see us as a town do an inventory of all Manitoba housing buildings, pictures included. Here's the address, here's the neighborhood. It's been like this since whenever, what was going on. We talk about derelict buildings, well, some of them look like derelict buildings. That's the government. Right now, I would say they're not really a responsible landowner or apartment owner. You look around other apartment blocks in town, they're well kept and maintained. If they can't look after the stock, sell it. Sell it to someone privately that look after it and utilize the buildings. Some of these buildings, they're empty and there's all over town.
Yes.
I would like to see someone
Some sort of.
go and do it.
So I think the first thing is we should ask a request from Manitoba Housing, which we've done this in the past. So we've already done what you're asking. One time, a couple of years ago, we spoke to Brian Malkovich We've sent specific requests and actually brought this to the AMM board. I brought this directly to the minister. And so just as funny you said this, because as late as last week, I also had a conversation again with that group and spoke to Minister Samar that there's 67 units that are vacant or boarded up or waiting for repairs or something in the community right now. I shared that also with the mayor of Flin Flon and also shared that with the mayor of Thompson. So that's one of the northern mayor activities we're thinking that we should be approaching on. On the sale front, there's also a community member that's been asking that same request for a housing unit. And I spoke to the mayor of Grand Rapids at our AMM because they have the same problem. So they have homes there that they can't, that people want to buy. But there's a moratorium from Manitoba Housing on selling any of their stock. And so they won't sell anything, even though it's vacant, it's been vacant for years and it won't be moved. There's a freeze on that kind of activity. But I agree with you is that what we should do, Bo, maybe it should come from yourself or the administration to ask the local person for exactly what Councillor Hopper said. And start with that. And then if we have to go and invest some of the work, we can. We also have, depending on how much time we have tomorrow, but this may be an issue that I can also share. I did share it with the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Northern Relations, but maybe we can share it with the Premier tomorrow. Because I think that we're not the only community that's seeing that.
Are we, are the CSOs ticketing any of these properties?
They are giving if you look at the report, they gave like 1 or 2 Schedule A this year, but not the Manitoba housing.
I was just gonna suggest, we could easily pad those numbers. There's, as you just identified, 67 properties, which majority of them are probably easily Schedule As. And that's the CSO's job. That's where we need to start. We don't need to start with the high level conversations.
Yeah.
It needs to show the patterns of
Yeah.
the condition, and Schedule A should apply to everybody equally.
And they're easy targets.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And if nobody wants rental housing building in their neighborhood, not because of the people, great people living there most of the time, but it's when they abuse the building and
Nobody takes care of it.
Manitoba Housing and the Manitoba Tenancy Branch. I don't know, they just keep renting to people that don't respect the properties.
Mhm.
They can evict and.
No, that's a good point. So let's get that on our list and maybe we can also keep that on our agenda so that we can keep the temperature up on that because.
Could start with the CSOs and their.
Well, if you think that we built a $6.2 million 6-unit Manitoba Housing, this is my standard soapbox speech, and we have 67 or said to be 67 units that people could live in. I don't know where my investment, but I know where my investment would be if I'm really truly trying to make people not homeless. We don't need to build new units. We need to just get the ones that we have and give the tools to the people that are trying to do it. Okay, so moving down to Chamber of Commerce lease agreement. Anybody have any issues with that? January 26th, 28 in kind. We've been doing that for a while. No problem.
I still, but whatever council decides, I voiced my disapproval about when this came up originally, I'll still vote to vote second.
I'll go and like remind me.
I just didn't feel like we should be doing anything kind. I felt like that just opens the door for others to request and have a valid request to do it.
Yeah.
So.
No, I agree.
Have they accessed it?
Yeah, they use it. There's
They
a
use
person-
it now?
Yeah, that's.
Yes.
fine.
Usually for the trade show.
No, there's actually a staff person.
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
no, there is.
yeah.
They're doing that. In the past.
Yeah.
In the past,
Yeah.
was with some storage of items.
That's right. But
It
now-
wasn't anybody working out of an office. It was strictly storage space.
Sandra could ever go because it would be after hours
Yeah.
from her regular job.
So we're giving them that it's only between 8:30 and 4:30.
Yeah.
So that's.
Yeah.
Let's bring it. So conditional use, this would require a public hearing. Just for, again, I'll start. I know we've got, our municipal superintendent in the room, but we have a variation application for conditional use of 3 properties on Edwards Avenue. It's been up for sale for many, many, many years. Is not really getting a lot of traction. There's been an application to see if they can temporarily use that as a parking area for up to 3 years as that business owners had that request. Comments, questions? If we do approve to go forward, there would have to be a public hearing anyways, which is scheduled for June 29th at 6 p.m.
Based on the parking that I see on that 200 block, or sorry, 100 block of Fisher Avenue, I would fully support that with the contingent that as many can park there as possible.
I think there's up to 40 units.
Yeah.
We're looking at.
So, yeah, so we'll bring that. So I guess, do we need we don't need a resolution of a public hearing for that. Do we just,
Yeah, we have to do the announcement first.
yeah, just do the announcement for the 29th.
So council agree with 20.
Yeah.
Do we know how it's being contained to just those 3 lots? That's the only question I have.
That's already fenced. in
Oh,
front.
Yeah.
It's gonna be filled in with appropriate
Okay.
gravel and
Okay,
there won't be plugins.
They're not gonna park on the grass there.
So, and 6
Grass will
p.m.,
be gone.
okay,
It'll all be gravel.
okay.
6 p.m. is okay by the council? 6 p.m.
Sure.
in the evening? Or should we?
5 is better.
5? Okay.
Noon is better. For me. I know, I'm just kidding.
5 p.m.
She's asked me what's better, yeah, 5 p.m. Saturday afternoon at 2.
No, not Saturday.
It's good for me. 6 a.m. Okay. Tricom, where are we at? Tricom recycling issue sheet, so you can see, Milan has sent the requests for the 183,000, all the information is required. They may see a small surplus this year and, based on the operation, but they're requesting that if there is a small surplus, they will lower their request in 2027 to ensure that they're running a balanced budget.
Have they received anything from the other 2 parties?
The requests are just going on. So the indication from the RM that it will be no problem.
What did we budget?
That number.
Yeah.
So Milan's went through the budget, reduced where he felt that was not really required. But keep in mind that the majority of this expenses is labor. And because there was a big payout at the beginning of the year, it doesn't really impact labor this year. You'll potentially see a lower labor cost next year because there'll be potentially less employees. And also if they can get their recycling numbers up, you might see higher returns from MMSN. Everybody okay with that for the next council meeting?
Resolutions?
Yeah, resolution for that funding. So, everybody see moving on to the crack sealing equipment machine for the airport. Any comments, concerns? No, they have a pretty healthy reserve from the fire system last year, so it might be a good thing to invest in, maybe protect our assets long-term. And maybe our council, maybe our community can borrow it from them from time to time.
Thank you for thinking about it.
That's what I was thinking.
It's on the letter. I gotta find something to let people know. It's a one-way relationship.
So no issues with that? I do think though, when it comes to crack sealing, job wise, that our community has a lot of areas that may require a capital approach. With the company coming in and just sort of catching up because the backlog might be getting so big that you're not gonna be able to catch up with the source staff that you have unless you come up with a plan to staff up to just do that. Humidifier for the museum, I think that's pretty straightforward. I mean, we don't wanna lose that equipment, and we don't want another Skippy L on our hands. I think we should, get some urgency on that and get that ordered ASAP. $10,000, healthy reserve still. Any comments or concerns with that? Okay, and then the last thing before we go into in camera, there might be one item that's in camera that may come out of camera with a decision. It's a financial discussion we have to have on one project. But because there's some financial terms that can't be disclosed to the public at this time, so we may come out of camera and have one more resolution before the end of our council meeting. And I'll just let people know it's around paving. It's a paving contract, but so if you see an additional resolution, that's where it'll be. It's that's why we're going to in camera. And we probably won't come back out. We'll come back out in our meeting, but we might not be live on video. So with that, we wish everybody, listen to camera, I guess, first.
Resolved that we now move ourselves into the in-camera portion of the committee of the whole with Mayor Murphy and the chair to discuss matters requiring our attention.
We wish everybody a good evening and thanks for